What is going on, everyone? My name's Boyd, and I'm back with some more Age Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Skady. And the map is Watering Hole yet again. 2 Watering Hole games. They did play a bunch of games, but I just picked 2 of them because this one looked interesting. A lot of people have been having trouble with Odin recently. I think a lot of people say that Odin is quite strong, especially in some certain matchups like Odin versus Uranus, Odin versus Poseidon. So I thought maybe we'd share some love around. Let's see what these other matchups are. We have that Odin versus Zeus game there where Skady shows a very, very unique way of approaching the matchup. And we're going to move into this game and see Set versus Odin, see if Skady's got something up his sleeve for the Set versus Odin matchup. It is Watering Hole. We do have this priest immediately going for the lion. Now, this is the most important thing you can do here is Set. The lion takes 30 seconds to convert, right? And Rapl is going to be searching all around for the priest initially with this Ulfsark. Super important here to find that that priest with the Ulfsark. But the counter to this is to simply get an aggressive animal. So getting 1 lion, that's all you need. And then you go and you find the other huntables that you want to grab. It does look like Skady is going to be going for the 2nd lion as well. Not that important. The 2nd lion doesn't matter that much. You see the lion's only got 2.8 damage. It does get more as you advance through the ages, I think. But at this point, your priority should be moving forward, grabbing the rhino in the middle of the map, and making sure your opponent gets less food in the middle of the map here. Now, Rapl, we'll see what he's going to do. Rapl's been doing a lot better recently against Egyptian, but more specifically against the Ra players with his Njord play, a little bit of Skady play, a little bit of different ideas for how he wants to approach that matchup. But against Set, it is a completely different kettle of fish because Set has got access to Anubis, which is very strong. You get those Anubites, which you have to deal with, plus Spearmen, etc., etc. And Set also has access to Ptah, which is a arguably broken god, which completely shuts down any early game play from your opponent. So, for example, one thing that Norse players do against Isis, which is really strong, is super early aggressive play. Against Set, it doesn't work because those units will just get shifted into a box in their base. And then you go, okay, cool, can't do anything about that. So I better not do that super aggressive play. So the late advance with Anubis is a little bit stronger with Set because you have to appreciate the fact that maybe Shifting Sands is there. So it's a little bit like the Anubis plays a little bit better here with Set, just simply based on that psychological edge. Also, the other thing is having animals early to defend against stuff is pretty scary as well. The Rapl Skady getting his temple up nice and quickly, going for a 430. Only 1 villager putting this temple up. This is something that is so incredibly important, and it's a wonder why I see a lot of top Set Isis players having to build this temple with multiple villages. We're going to see that Skady is going to be going for the classic Shifting Sands rush here with the priest, with the free animals. He's going to be looking for something. I think he's still got his vision. He does. He'll vision his opponent's base, look for something to hit. You can see these villages here can get hit, these villages here, and he's going to be going for some early game damage here, following it up with the 2nd town center. So we'll see if he can find any damage with it or not. But back to the first point, there are plenty of ways in which Set Isis Ra can get this temple up with only 1 villager. And it is very important because it allows you to get a lot more resources out. We're seeing Hands of the Pharaoh coming in. 20-second research time on that Hands of the Pharaoh. So he's going to be 10 seconds into the Classical Age before he can really deal any damage with the Pharaoh. But then it will pop and he should be able to be fine. We'll see the vision. What does he see here? He's got villages, villages, villages. What is he going to go for? And it looks like he's going onto the Herser first. Absolutely love that. Snipes one Herser. Going for the second Herser. This Herser going to make a break for it out of the gate, but will not be able to get their hands on the Pharaoh. Has completed here. Now the Pharaoh is going to do so much damage to those dwarves, but the dwarves going to be retreating now. Skady can make his way over here if he wants to. The Longhouse trying to come up over on this location here. This dwarf under fire as well. He immediately tasks the animals there instead of running away. There's a dwarf kill there with this aggression as Rapl is just struggling to survive here. The easy counter to this is to simply just accept you're getting rushed, get watchtowers, and then you're completely safe. Instead of throwing these longhouses down, you don't need to. Just keep building Herser, get your watchtowers up, and then get a second town center is completely fine and dandy. But Rapl getting his longhouses down, and these priest and pharaoh are just getting so much value. And yet again, Rapple's in that situation where he can't even sneak over onto these gold mines here because they're a little bit tough to get to. And now Skady, he should be thinking about getting a second town center now. And he's getting the middle town center. He's going to have access to all of these rhinoceros, all of these deer here as well. And we'll see how he's going to go. Priests starting to throw their rocks yet again at these gatherers on the gold mine as Rapl is just trying to get as much gold income as he can. The raiding cavalry coming out now, but it's dangerous here. If Skady just needs to snipe down those Herser, and the Wadget's just going to go to town here, but it looks like he snipes the raiding cavalry first, and the Pharaoh does end up dying there. But another Herser, it doesn't quite go down, but so much damage here onto Rapl's economy as Skady is so close to 2 town centers, so close to being huge. There's the second town center, and the Valkyrie coming back in, 23 HP remaining on that one, so I missed whatever that was getting up to, but honestly, I don't think it was anything too immaculate here. As the Wadget falls, the priest's going to be maybe making a break for it, but they can't quite squeeze out. Going after the dwarf, and maybe going to snipe that one, but it does look like the raiding cavalry will come in here, clean up the priests, and that is that done. Question time for you guys now. Do you think that watchtowers would have been enough to hold on, or would have been worth it, or not at this point, with all of the resources lost here from Rapl? Answer, most definitely. 300 resources invested in this to make sure your villagers keep training. And it's not like the resources are down the drain either. Towers are very, very important. Barracks coming up now for Skady, and the rhinoceros getting converted here. Now Rapple's going to be looking for some raids, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a second town center up for Rapl either. He's starting to make the Ulfsark, and the town center is on the way here for Rapl. I mean, maybe the towers are placed poorly. Maybe the priests would still do something. Maybe I'm wrong here. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong here. Run here then. Stop mining this gold mine. I don't know. Normally towers are better, but maybe Rapl made the right choice. And he's just dealing with this the best he can. Nice snipe there on that villager. So while this town center comes up, you do have to be careful. There is a potential forest fire here, which would be really, really nice to open up the position here, prevent this town center from getting grabbed too easily. It's looking like Skady doesn't care. He's just going to go straight for the third town center, and there's nothing there that Rapl can do with only 6 raiding cavalry going for this second town center here. There's just so much safe hunt for the set player. It's so strong having these converted animals here. Looking like he's scouting around with this this rhinoceros. We do have the 2 arrows here, extra 5% archer ballistic, cryo ballistic damage. Very, very strong set relic, because set also has the cheaper archers and faster training archers, so you can get a lot more out of that one there. We do see this wall coming up, but this is very, very precarious wall with forest fire. This is very easily pushed through, so you do have to be a little bit careful about how safe you feel there. Now the rhinoceros getting pulled back in. Gonna have to shock granary down, but the town center just coming up now for Rapl. So he's going to be very, very far behind on the economy now as Skady's got 28 villagers on food, just pumping villagers from all of his town centers, throwing up the armory as well. His armory's been prevented for the time being, but Skady basically doesn't need to build military units here. This is the really strong thing about Egyptian, and not just Egyptian, but just town centers in general against classical age, against most classical age civs. So the exception for this is like Zeus and Uranus, maybe Kronos, who can just kind of continue spamming units into a town center and be fine. But against Odin and against everything else, it's like you can just grab these town centers, sit on them, spam villages, go heroic age, and you're completely fine here. As we see this armory getting finished, and Skady's going to be hitting an 11-minute, 30-ish heroic age with full population villages. And the villages are so strong here to just turn around and push the raiding cavalry back that it's not even worth going for a raid with the town center fire as well. It's a lot to have to get done. We just see a third town center coming up for Rapl here. This is very aggressive. And in an attempt to catch back up on the economy here, I think it's fine if Rapl can get heroic age around about the same time that Skady's going to get there, but even then he still has to defend, and Skady is not going to take the foot off the gas. And Skady can also hit a mythic timing very, very quick here, much quicker than Rapl's mythic timing, so he's going to have to deal with a tornado as well as ancestors. And the dwarves right now are moving to their next location to get that gold economy. There's a forest fire. I'm not so sure about that forest fire. I feel like this is the forest to burn. Trying to get some snipes here and on that like kind of 1 in 100 games where you get multiple villager kills on a forest fire. And you can see that the walls are all thrown up here. So this, and you think about 50 wood damage. This is these are 6 gold. There's a lot of gold here. It looks like all these raiding cavalry getting sniped as well. Nice ghost building from Skady, preventing Rapl from getting out, and then the surround there must be infuriating to be in that situation, but it is what it is. Now Rapl going through Skady, and Skady is going through Nephthys. He is just about to pop. He's got a lot of gold in the bank, ready to throw up that hill fort, Migdol's stronghold, and then start spamming out those archers and everything else. We see the marker going down, so Skady's not even going to wait here. Oh, actually, this is one of those situations where Thoth is probably not that bad. You throw down a couple of monuments, start making Phoenix, Meteor Phoenix, the hometown center. Send the Phoenix over here onto the gold. Very tough to prevent that. Very tough to defend that as Odin. We'll see if that's something that Skady's going to want to try. And it's looking like Skady's now basically full population on the villages as well. Migdol stronghold coming up here. Villagers moving up onto the hippopotamus. And the lumber camp coming up. Let's check out the economic upgrades. We've got shaft mine, hand axe, plow for Skady. Was that plow shadoof? Yep, plow shadoof. No husbandry just yet. Rapl with hand axe, husbandry, pickaxe. So Skady has got all the important Egyptian upgrades. Before he should start, well, he's got the right ones first, at the very least. We'll just turn around, taking a fine, nice snipe there, trading raiding cavalry for a villager, turning back in, trying to move back and forth here with these raiding cavalry, and Rapl will be able to snipe another villager there. So nice play there from Rapl with those raiding cavalry, making some decent work of that. There's the hill fort. Do we see that mythic age just yet? Not just yet. The market is up. He can trade his way there if he wants. He's got 900 wood in the bank. Just not spending any of it just yet, as he's realizing he's got all the time in the world here to do whatever he wants. Now the raiding cavalry swinging around here, looking for something to do. And there's the Horus. So he's not going through Thoth. He doesn't have the monuments really to make Thoth work. And Horus, you still have to throw the monuments down because you do want to get the upgrades on your spearmen. But there's more guaranteed damage here. If he wants to take this town center, for example, he can very easily chuck the tornado down here and then have it move up into it moves up into the left, I believe. So you chuck it down on this side, it'll take down the town center, and it's going to be Very, very good. And now Skady making a push in here. Rapl without this wall finishing off. Very big mistake here, allowing Skady into his base very, very easily. And now we see Skady pushing over here, going to be attempting to take down some of these Frost Giants. The Priest Pharaoh are out. Does he have funeral rites? No funeral rites. Still in the one Monuments of the Villagers. So the Frost Giants are going to be really, really strong at this point. And now we see an Ancestors onto this location here. That's going to force out the Frost here. If Rapl wants to. If I was Rapl, I would just take this this damage here, move my villagers away, and just take the small amount of economic damage, because the amount of military damage you can do with a Frost on an army completely outweighs the economy lost or from not gathering over here. Very, very interesting decision there from Rapl, but he does trade his Frost for Ancestors, and that is exactly what Skady wanted from that exchange. He wanted to trade his Ancestors for Frost, and we see the Huskarl swinging around here, trying to get onto these units. We don't have many Axemen out. There's the first Axeman Tornado coming in onto this location, and the villagers take tons of damage here, but there's too many of them to actually fall in this situation here, as the town center are going to be going down. If you expect your opponent to be going Mythic Age, which is 100% to be expected in this scenario, you've got to invest in fortified town centers, masons. That way the town center doesn't die. Ooh. Did he just make that out of the town center, or did he convert it manually? Kind of look like it just came out of the town center. Wild. But yeah, if you can get masons and fortified town centers, you will survive that tornado. But now Rapl's getting pushed in on this side as well. He does have full population at the moment, but he has to come over here and defend these units. He will be able to snipe that Scorpion Man over here. And the Avenger coming in as well. This is one of the most frustrating units to deal with as Norse, because it does so much damage, but the Frost Giant is a clean counter for it. We're seeing Rapl moving over to it now in an attempt to freeze it, but that's going to allow the Scorpion Man to unfreeze, as now he's probably going to lose this town center. Fortified town center is on the way. Catapult on the way as well, as Skady can now think about just putting up Migdol's towers, everything else. If we check out Skady's economy, he's got a lot of resources in the bank, spamming out the villages, getting them all up, making sure he's got everything he needs, and the town center is going to be getting taken down very, very shortly here if Rapl can't get back over there in time. There is a saving grace here. The saving grace here is that Rapl can go tier and chuck docks up and then make sure that this town center cannot get secured by Skady. So while Skady is going to be 160 versus 140 population, Rapl could prevent this town center from going up by taking the water here. We do have some idle villages here for Rapl, just trying to get everything sorted. Lots of idols here. He does have the gold mine over here to move to. He has not managed to do it just yet. And we're starting to see the town center going down. This catapult has gotten away with so much damage here onto this location, as there hasn't been any units here to snipe it in the middle of nowhere. We see the throwing axemen now finally coming in. Town center one shot away, and he does get that shot off, and that is a dead town center there for Rapl. And his throwing axemen that are in the middle of this fight here, all getting sniped as well. The Jarls coming out of this location. Rapl still full population here, but the champion chariots come through for Skady. He's got so many strong units in this position here. And chariots doing so much. The priest here, still no funeral rites, and the Frost Giants could come in and turn this battle nicely. The hill fort does get taken down here. You have to pick off the priest and the pharaoh if you want. We see the town center starting to go up there, but the hill fort going to deny this one for a little bit. Villagers helping out. The Frost Giant still pushing in. More Jarls getting trained here for Rapl, but he doesn't have that much food in the bank. Very little food economy indeed. He's got so much wood here. Needs to transition that into farms and get that economy going. Checking out the economic upgrades for a hot second here. We've got still no improvement on the economy for Rapl, whereas Skady is almost full upgrades, just needs his carpenters and flood control. And Rapl does decide the game is lost here in this moment. GG, well played by Skady. Nice Priest Pharaoh aggression coming back to patch 3.0 there with that one. One of the changes that did happen in 5.0 was the Hands of the Pharaoh going into the temple for the Archaic Age, which allows you to start researching that one before you hit the Classical Age and get it just as you advance. So the power is slightly nerfed from 3.0, but it's still kind of there. But Rapl just not able to hold on. Too much damage sustained here. Maybe just a little bit of an unfortunate sentry tower placement, so he couldn't get the watchtowers, or just chose not to get the watchtowers. Yeah, that was kind of it for Rapl. And unfortunately, when the shift came, it came right onto his Herser, and you want to have a couple of Herser out to fight it if you can, because you should be able to defend this if you get enough Herser out, because it was like 3 Priest, Pharaoh, and a Wadjet. So the Wadjet does nothing, the Priest do nothing, the Pharaoh does something. So if you come in and hit that with like 4 Herser, you should be able to just push it back easily, but losing 1 or 2 Herser at the start is just too much. One thing you can try against it if you want is you can send your villagers forward with like 2 Herser and then try and push through there, and the Priest and Pharaoh will run, but you can prevent it that way as well. And yes, well played by Skady, though. He plays this one pretty much textbook here, grabbing the early 2nd town center, getting the 3rd town center going. Super fast Mythic Age there, 15 minutes into the game. Brutal tornado onto this location. Another mistake here from Rapl was casting the Frost here onto the Ancestors, trading Frost, possibly the best god power in the game for an Ancestors, which seems scary, but it's really not. It's just not right. You gotta get that Frost onto the enemy army, and if you do that, then at least you're going to be making some good damage onto the economy there, or the army of the Egyptian player, and slowing them down on their push to take your town center in this position here. Whether it would have been enough remains to be seen, but GG, well played by Skady. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.